Buon pomeriggio a tutti e benvenuti. Io prenderò pochissimi minuti per introdurre questo panel. Il tema del panel è la vita online di una compagnia aerea. Avremo non solo una grande compagnia aerea come KLM, ma anche la testimonianza degli aeroporti toscani e quale sarà, insomma, il mondo su cui ci affacceremo, quello dei social media. Quindi come due organizzazioni così diverse, eppure così vicine, no? Anche soprattutto dal punto di vista logistico, si sono trovate, hanno l'opportunità e si sono trovate nella condizione di utilizzare i social media con funzioni e con obiettivi diversi, avendo che cosa in comune? Avendo da una parte naturalmente, in particolare per la compagnia aerea, i clienti, la necessità crescente, una domanda crescente di assistenza soprattutto tramite i social media, e dall'altra un aeroporto che, come mi diceva poco fa Federico Barraco dell'Aeroporti Toscana, è qualcosa di fatto da ingegneri, da insomma, cose molto fisiche, poco virtuali, eppure c'è l'opportunità, prima di tutto attraverso i social media, di farne uno strumento per stare ed entrare in relazione con i milioni di persone che passano dall'aeroporto e anche con la comunità locale che attorno all'aeroporto vive. Introduco quindi, per cominciare il nostro panel, con molto piacere Carolijn Hauwert. Please welcome on stage. Carolijn è la responsabile dell'attività dei social media a livello mondiale di KLM. So welcome Carolijn on stage. And thank you. This is your keynote.
Thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carolijn, and I'm working for KLM, the Royal Dutch Airlines, where I'm responsible for all servicing agents providing service via social media to our customers. And today I'm here to share some information with you on how KLM is using technology and social media in order to make sure that customers are helped best. So what I would like to talk about today is how we are creating a warm and personal feeling for our customers with the use of technology, which is quite a hassle sometimes, but we try to find a balance. I would like to share why we are where our customers are, the importance of having a conversation with your customer and being there throughout the whole customer journey. So not just flying and arriving, but the whole customer journey. So KLM is quite an old airline. It's actually the oldest airline in the world operating under its original name. So we're very proud of that. And over those years, we have been known to be very personal to our customers. So our customers have the feeling they are personally recognized by the KLM staff, either on the ground or in the air. And that's what makes a difference for us as an airline. And over these years, at least at social media, which we started with in 2011, the strategy has been the same. So we have service on one side. Service means answering the questions of your customer, making sure that they are helped if they have a problem. On the other side, you have the brand and reputation. You can imagine that social media is it's a very good source of making sure that people all across the globe get in touch with your brand. I mean, maybe you guys know what KLM is, but I've been to Malaysia, and in Malaysia they have no clue what KLM is because it doesn't say airline in its name. So social media is a very good channel to help you as a brand spread the word of who you are. And next to that, we also try to generate commerce, of course. Just making sure we get money via social media, selling tickets, advertisements, making sure people get drawn to our website to buy tickets. And we use social media to extend this. But next to these three pillars, which have always been the same over the past years, we've added the social development and innovation part. Because at KLM, we truly believe that if you would like to be in the next step of social media, you have to invest in both of these features to make sure that you're in the next step. And I'm here today to share some light on how are we going to do this. But first of all, times are changing, the world around us is changing. 30 years ago, my grandfather bought a ticket at an agency, and at the agency was sitting at the counter an agent from KLM, And when he would receive his ticket, then it would be via an gate agent, whereas now everything is digital. I mean, even your luggage is sucked into by a machine, and there's no agent around that can help you anymore. So everything is becoming digital. And when everything is becoming digital, how are you making sure that you can still provide the service people are used to from 30 years ago? So the world is changing. We see around in our console on your mobile phone, we see that people are using much more the klm.com website via their mobile device. So they're not really using their computer or laptop anymore. It's all via their mobile phones. And furthermore, if you're looking at your own mobile phone, I guess it's full of apps. I mean, my phone is full of apps. But if I'm looking at the apps that I'm using on a daily basis, I think there are only 5 or 6. And those are mainly the apps that I use to have contact with my friends or colleagues or family. So, of course, it's nice that I've downloaded a game or that I've downloaded something to make sure that I get payments done in another country. But these are not the apps that I use on a daily basis. And as KLM, we are saying if these are not the apps that you're using on a daily basis, we should be in the apps that you guys are using on a daily basis. And if you're not flying KLM every week, I'm pretty sure the KLM app is not one of these apps. Next to that, there's a huge challenge, and it's not just an airline challenge. I think it's a challenge for everyone, which is, of course, voice. Maybe you know from your mobile device that you can switch on the lights or turn on the music. And my nephew is switching on his television with it. But maybe in a few years, next year already, somebody will ask their phone, hey, can you please book me a ticket to Florence? And then how do we make sure that the ticket is bought from KLM and not from our company? I don't know, it's a challenge, but it's not just an airline challenge. Imagine driving your car and your gas is running empty and you're shouting to your phone, please find me a gas station right away. As if you're part of Shell, then you would like the phone to guide you to a Shell station. But how are we going to make sure that that will happen? So this is something we have to keep in mind, and we have to already think in advance, how are we going to tackle this problem? Currently, I don't have the answer yet, but we are experimenting with devices like voice to at least know how they are working, how we can develop on these kind of platforms. And next to that, we see a huge shift from the public environment to private environment. So 5 years ago, it was a big hit to ask something funny on a public environment of a company, and then maybe you would get a funny answer back. But nowadays, people are just going towards a private conversation. They have a question, and they would like to have an answer. Or they have a complaint, and they would like to be helped. So people are moving much more towards private conversations. And about these private conversations, I will be sharing some more information today. Well, what do we think is the ultimate in private conversations, or at least in usage of social media by companies? Looking to China, in China is WeChat very big. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but it's a very big platform. It's similar to Facebook and WhatsApp, only much more advanced. But what happens in China if you're going to McDonald's and order a burger? Which is the simplest thing ever. Even I can do it over here, not speaking Italian, anyone can do it. In China, if you order a burger at McDonald's, then you have to order the burger via WeChat. And once you've ordered the burger, you have to pay via WeChat. And even WeChat gives you a signal when your burger is ready. So me being a tourist over there, not having WeChat, I am unable to buy a burger. Which is, of course, for me a bit shitty. But what does it mean for the companies? It means that companies are much more integrating in daily life of customers by use of technology and making sure the way they provide their app or their communication to customers in such an efficient way that customers have the understanding, or at least believe, that they want to have an interaction with the company. Next to that, in China, 50% of all the people have ad blockers on their phone. So as KLM, we can do as many advertisements as we want, but no one will see it because they have ad blockers. So you have to be efficient enough that people are using your application and that way knowing your brand and getting in touch. And that's what we call going back to a grocery store feeling. So imagine, well, my dad is a good example. My dad always went to the bakery to buy 3 bread, something like that. And then at a certain point in time, the baker recognized him and he said, can I please give you 3 breads because I know you always order the breads. And then a few years later, I moved out of the house and he only needed 2 instead of 3. And he had a conversation with the baker why he ordered 2 breads instead of 3. And this is something very personal. People are very much in favor of this personal touch, and that the customer is known by the seller, to say so, or the company, or anything you would like. And that's what we call the grocery store feeling. And with social media, KLM is going back to this feeling, but then with use of technology. Well, we have seen this over the years already. This graph shows our private messages on Facebook. Well, it's increasing a lot, as you can see. And this is also, for us at least, proving that people are much more longing towards a personal connection with our brand or our company. And imagine going back to the example of my dad at the baker. One point, all the supermarkets became very big, and then he decided, I'm not going to the baker anymore, because you know what? I can also buy my cheese and everything else in the supermarket. And nowadays he can also choose when he is going to pay in the supermarket, and he doesn't have to wait for the line and the cashier and everything. But imagine having the personal feeling of the bakery combined with the efficiency of the supermarket. Well, I believe, KLM believes that this can be done via technology within social media. So what have we been doing over the years? We've been doing something very weird, actually. This is, to say so, the digital galaxy, and it shows where our customers are online. And in the middle, there's a very tiny planet, which is KLM, the KLM.com environment. And as you can see, the KLM.com environment is so much smaller than, for example, Facebook or Google. What we've been doing over the years is pushing people, or at least trying to push them towards our .com environment to make sure that they would get our full scope of selling products and everything. But our people are not on this little planet. They are on the planets around us. So why are we pushing them towards a planet where they not are? We should make sure that we are on the planets they already are. Because people would like to have efficiency, and it's not efficient to go to a different platform. So that's why we are saying that next to the mobile app and the KLM.com environment, which are both very important for KLM, social media is a new entry point. And it means that you can imagine if you're flying KLM a lot, then you are used to the KLM mobile app. But if you're flying KLM only 2 times a year, and most of our customers are on average flying 1.1 time a year, then you're not going to download the app, and you're neither going to the KLM.com website. So we are making sure to provide all services possible on social media as well, because these customers only flying once a year, they are on Facebook and they are on WhatsApp. So what does it look like? It means that we are making sure that everything you can do on the KLM app or KLM.com, you can also do within our social media platforms. So doing a payment, making a booking, doing your check-in, getting notifications about a gate change or a flight delay, select your seat, and getting your boarding pass. Everything needs to be done via social media as well. And currently none of this is all installed yet, but we are on Messenger, WeChat, Twitter, and WhatsApp providing these information. This is just the beginning, because you can imagine that in the KLM app you have this nice seat map, and then you can select your seat and it's yours. Well, if it's possible in the KLM app, then it's also possible within WhatsApp and also in Messenger. So within the next year we will be developing these kind of things, and you don't need to go to KLM.com or you don't need to go to the KLM app. You can just stay in your WhatsApp and select your seat. Everything needs to be done within the one conversation you already have in, because it's more convenient for the customer. Well, and up till now, it's been a huge success. We've sent over more than 2 million of these automated messages, so automated boarding passes, automated flight notifications. But next to the fact that it's a huge success, it's also a challenge, because if you can see that already 25% of all online boarding passes are shared via social media, why is KLM, as an e-commerce revenue model, using email for everything? And not just KLM, almost any company actually is using email for their e-revenues. Whereas customers are clearly changing towards social media. So we have to think of a new way to make sure that these same kind of revenues are getting in via social media. So we have to change our business model. We have to think of how are we going to solve this problem. Well, and why is this working so well, this way of having a conversation with the customer? Well, first of all, we are where the customers are. The customers are on different platforms, and we have to be there as well. Second of all, everything is in one conversation. You can imagine, you've I'm not sure if you're living here in Florence, at least I'm not. I went to the hotel and then I had to go through all my emails, and I got, I think, 5 emails of the hotel and the organization and everything in between all my work emails, and I was kind of lost, but I found it anyway. But if you're having it in one conversation, you don't have to search anymore because you know it's there. It's kind of in your wallet. It's in your conversation. You just have to find your conversation and then have all information present at one click. Next to that, if something is going wrong, you can imagine you maybe pre-booked a seat or something, and you're checking in and you're not getting the seat. Then you have an immediate option to get in contact with KLM because you're getting your boarding pass. This is an example of Messenger. And if it's wrong, you can immediately type a sentence, hey, I'm getting the wrong seat, can you please help me? And at that point, you're getting to our service agents. This is actually my team. I'm responsible for all these agents. We currently have 250 around the world. And they can help you with changing your seat, or they can help you with making sure that your meal is on board which you ordered. So you have, besides the bots that help you with necessary information, you can immediately also get in touch with KLM if something is going wrong. But last but not least, it means that the customer is having a conversation of choice because they are choosing to have contact with us via WhatsApp or Facebook or Twitter or any channel we have. And that means that as KLM, you are in between the friends of your customer. Because you are, for example, my mother is texting me, and next to the text of my mother is the boarding pass of KLM. And if you're looking at the baker, I told you in the beginning, the grocery store feeling, this is how we are creating this grocery store feeling. Because as KLM, you are in the personal space of a customer without being harassing, but you are there. You are in top of mind of the customer, in between the friends. It's also, of course, a huge responsibility. I noticed that many of the sentences are in Dutch. There's only one English one, I'm standing in front of it. These were all answers we got from customers that just received their boarding pass. And they're like, this means thanks, honey, and this is kind of weird. It says, everything went very smoothly, I'm on the loo already. But people are just responding to us like we are a friend. Because they just receive a boarding pass and they're responding to us like we are their friend. And that's what we need. Next one, yeah? But this is actually only the start because we're very serious about being where the customers are. Well, very serious about everything I said. But it also means we have to think further. Because, as I said, the volumes are increasing and we believe volumes will keep increasing. More people are getting access to social media. More people are getting access to internet. The volumes will keep increasing. Customers are getting more demanding. 1 year ago, it would be very much okay if you would answer within an hour, whereas today it's not okay at all. Today there's a big disruption in Bali because the volcano erupted. Well, people are not waiting an hour to get our answer about a rebooking ticket. That's too long. So we need to answer very fast. So volumes are growing and the expectation is changing. And how are we going to solve this without adding 100 more of FTEs? Because adding more FTE to handle the volume is for us not really the solution. Well, technology is not really longer the problem anymore. You've seen all the automated messages we are sending out. So we're quite advanced already in getting to know all these systems. But technology is never the bakery you're used to. So how are we going to combine a technology with a certain bakery kind of feeling? Well, our solution is via artificial intelligence. We currently have 2 different forms of artificial intelligence in place. The one on your left side, Digital Genius, is used for our CRM system. So all messages that a customer is sending to us are loaded into the system and read by this artificial intelligence. The artificial intelligence is reading the question, and based on historical data and the algorithm that's built around it, the system knows, I've had this question multiple times before, so this is the proposed answer. You can imagine if all flights are cancelled, then people are having a lot of questions, and 80% of all the times we answer, our first question to the customer is, of course we would like to help you, but we need to have your booking code or your PNR, so please share it. And if this is the case in 80% of all answers we give, then we can automate it, that's for sure. So we are automating it via artificial intelligence, making sure that the system keeps learning and that if something changes, the learning changes with it. That's one way of artificial intelligence. The next one is done via API.ai, and it's actually a bot we built. It's we call it a blue bot, and it helps customers booking a ticket. So you can have a conversation with this blue bot, and that blue bot will help you book a ticket. If you say, hey, KLM, I would like to fly to New York tomorrow, then this artificial intelligence bot can book you a ticket. Why is this so important? If the system is automatically generating answers, and if the system is booking tickets for customers, it really helps to spread the workload and make sure that all the questions that are going to social media agents are really about big problems that need empathy. Over here you can see a small example of what it looks like. The top one is artificial intelligence. As I said, the first question we always have to ask a customer, otherwise we are not able to help, is could you please share your booking code? Well, this is done via the system. The second one over here, again standing in front of it, is the example of the booking bot. So a customer is saying, hey, I would like to book a ticket. And then the booking bot will help you a ticket. The booking bot is not able to do anything yet, but you can imagine that if it will be able to book you a ticket, then in the future it will also be able to book you extra legroom or an additional meal or luggage or anything like that. And on the top, there's always the case where you need empathy. This is a very positive one where people are flying on Valentine's Day, but of course you can imagine people are flying because somebody's ill, then you need empathy. You need a human being answering those questions. So this is all I've talked about is about the moments that the customer is in contact with KLM, if they are flying or if they are booking, getting their boarding pass. But what about the entire customer journey? And a customer journey for KLM is not just from the moment of booking till departure, or for any of your companies. You have to think further, because you can imagine that if somebody is flying for holiday reasons, they already start thinking of this holiday 4 months in advance, maybe 6, and then the journey just ends at the moment that he or she is sitting at the Christmas table and telling his family, hey, I flew with KLM and it was quite a nice journey. So the journey is much longer than just the arrival and the departure. And if you're looking at other companies in the travel industry, they're doing the same. Look at Airbnb. They just were used to provide rooms or accommodation, and now they also offer tours on your location. Google, it was a searching machine, now they're offering flights. So there are many more companies that are seeing the advantage of the total customer journey and trying to grasp customers earlier than their original point of entry for a specific company. As I said, why is it so important? Because you can generate so much more money. Imagine that customer of KLM is from the point of dreaming to the point of telling the story at Christmas table, constantly having KLM in its mind. That's a huge advantage compared to all the other airlines. So not just for KLM, but I think for any brand, think of the full customer journey that your customer is going through, because that is the point where you can make sure that you get remembered. How are we doing this? We are trying to bring relevant partners into the conversation we are already having. So you can imagine, this is an example of landing in San Francisco, and we know from data and partnership that you're always using an Uber. Why not, as KLM, send you, and we also know that you're going to a certain hotel via our partnership of booking, why not provide a possibility of booking an Uber right away? Because we know that you've landed, it's our plane, we know where you're going. Why not help a customer make it even more efficient by also offering an Uber? Well, what does it currently look like? Currently, we're not that far yet. That's, of course, the end goal. Currently, on the left side, in Facebook Messenger, you have the menu. And on the bottom of the menu, you are able to book a hotel or rent a car. And on the right side, we are currently experimenting with offering a hotel once a booking is made. And that's how we are trying to incorporate this for our customers. And of course, it sounds very nice. And it's very vital to keep this conversation going. But there's one point very important. You should always know when you're harassing people, because there's a very thin gray line. And if you step it, then people are angry and they are opting out, and then we're losing a customer. So we always have to do a find a balance between what is wrong, what is right, how are we making sure that we're helping the customer and not being too aggressive. There's no answer to it yet, but we have to keep it in mind to make sure that we're not overdoing it. And in this way of thinking, we would like to provide a certain kind of concierge service for our customers via technology. And going back to the grocery store feeling, it's amazing because you can get very personal, you can make sure that people get all the information they need. But we also believe that a true conversation is imperfect. Because going back to the bakery, there are sometimes moments that the baker makes a joke and then my dad responds to it, and that's the imperfectness in a conversation which you will never have via technology. So you should always make sure that you have a backup with empathy of human agents. What's next? I have no idea. I mean, there's many to do, that's not the problem. And there are many answers that need to be given to certain questions, but we are constantly developing, constantly exploring. And let's explore together. I have no idea, but I'm very much open to any ideas of yours. To summarize for today, I have only 1 minute left, so that's very good timing. Very important, be where your customers are. Your customers are not on your website. Of course, they are at one point, but not by origin. Social media is really essential to get to this point where they are. You have to have a conversation with the customer to know what's going on, what they needed. I'm standing in front of it again. So you have to have a conversation, and you have to make sure that you use technology in such a way that it makes it easier for you as a company and also more efficient for the customer. Don't overdo it. Make sure that you're there in the crucial moments. Well, and if possible, add third parties and make sure that the customers feel looked after as a concierge would do. So that's it for today, and I hope you enjoyed.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks. Thanks, Carolijn, for the excellent speech. You've really opened. I have a lot of questions, but we have time for questions later. Thanks a lot. Chiamo sul palco Federico Barraco, che è responsabile delle pubbliche relazioni e della comunicazione per Toscana Aeroporti. Vai Federico, quindi un punto di vista diverso, siamo sempre nel grande mondo del trasporto aereo. Ti lascio la parola.
Sì, sono acceso, sì. Buonasera a tutti e grazie per l'attesa, grazie a Carolijn perché davvero fa quasi spavento quanto sono andati avanti in qualcosa che a volte per noi è pionieristico, lì invece non solo è realtà ma è quasi passato. Io volevo darvi un po' un differente punto di vista che è quello dall'altra parte, dalla parte degli aeroporti. Ho bisogno di fare un po' un'evoluzione di quello che è successo nel mondo degli aeroporti, per cui vorrei iniziare un po' da, in principio era il nulla, no, facciamo qualche anno in meno, eccoci. In realtà nel nostro mondo negli ultimi 25 anni sono cambiate un po' le cose, anche piuttosto rapidamente per quello che è il nostro mondo. Inizialmente il mondo degli aeroporti era semplicemente un'infrastruttura, una pista, un terminal, tanti tecnici, ingegneri che rispondevano alle esigenze di un solo cliente, che spesso non era un cliente ma era anche proprietario dell'aeroporto, una singola compagnia aerea. Il management era un management tecnico che rispondeva un po' agli ordini della compagnia aerea. Finiva lì, qualche bar, qualche ristorante, qualche negozio. Nessuna competizione, l'aeroporto era uno, veniva scelto, pianificato a livello nazionale quasi governativo e la compagnia era la compagnia aerea di riferimento, quella nazionale. A un certo punto c'è stata questa rivoluzione dell'open sky, a un certo punto le compagnie aeree possono andare dove vogliono. Questa è stata una prima rivoluzione per noi, perché noi aeroporti abbiamo dovuto cominciare a cercare le compagnie aeree che venissero da noi, che ci portassero i passeggeri. E in qualche modo questo ha infettato un po' il mondo degli aeroporti col virus del cliente, del marketing. Nasce il marketing aviation in questi anni qui. ovvero lavoriamo insieme alla compagnia aerea, attiriamo la compagnia aerea, facciamo le fiere, il mio cliente è la compagnia aerea. E lì è stato il boom anni 90 delle Ryanair, le low cost, ma anche tutte le operazioni di co-marketing, gli aeroporti che promuovono in qualche modo il territorio per attirare le compagnie aeree. Una volta infettato col virus del cliente, però, qualcuno si è cominciato a chiedere: ma chi è il mio cliente? Qual è il mio prodotto? Io cosa vendo? In realtà la risposta a oggi non è banale, perché il mio cliente è sicuramente la compagnia aerea, che oggi come oggi è più un partner. Il mio cliente è sicuramente il passeggero, ma i miei clienti sono tutti i negozi che aprono in aeroporto, i miei clienti sono i visitatori dell'aeroporto. Il mio cliente è un universo molto complicato, e la cosa più complicata di tutte è che io non ho un prodotto che vendo, io non vendo praticamente nulla. Io mi relaziono con Firenze, 2,5 milioni di passeggeri l'anno, Pisa 5, con i quali sostanzialmente io faccio da intermediario, io faccio da garante, faccio da collettore di una serie di servizi, di segmenti di servizi che vengono erogati da altri. Il problema è che io non erogo nessun servizio, ma vengo sempre accusato di disservizi. Se al mio arrivo trovo il bagaglio sul nastro, nessuno mi farà mai complimenti, nessuno mi riconoscerà mai un vantaggio, nessuno mi dirà bravo. Se il bagaglio non arriva, saranno guai. Di chi è la colpa? È mia, è del mio handler, è della compagnia aerea, è dell'handler dell'aeroporto di scalo chissà dove, è del passeggero che l'ha imbarcata male, non lo saprò mai, ma sicuramente io beccherò le contestazioni del passeggero. Fondamentalmente il ruolo dell'aeroporto si è trasformato nel ruolo di un enorme direttore d'orchestra, dove non suono nessuno strumento, ma se sono bravo tutto va bene, se sbaglio io o se sbaglia qualcun altro vengo incolpato io e vengo considerato scarso. Questo è un po' il rapporto che è cambiato negli anni, ed è sostanzialmente, detta così chiaramente, per sintetizzare sembra banale, ma è epocale. Siamo partiti dal mondo in cui c'erano degli ingegneri che asfaltavano una strada, costruivano un piazzale, costruivano un terminal, a un mondo in cui io devo erogare un certo numero di servizi, un certo numero di prodotti, o devo fare in modo che gli altri lo possano fare, e ho un guadagno assolutamente relativo. Ma ho una forte competizione, una fortissima competizione, perché le compagnie aeree sono sempre più in competizione fra di loro, ma anche gli aeroporti. Perché io voglio atterrare a Firenze e non a Bologna, non a Pisa, non a Roma, non a Milano con l'alta velocità? Perché devo scegliere Firenze? Mi devo inventare il perché. Lo devo costruire una relazione con un cliente che fino a ieri era appannaggio di qualcun altro. Il cliente è in mano alla compagnia aerea, perché è lì che il cliente compra il biglietto aereo, è in mano al tassista, è in mano al duty free, è in mano a qualcun altro. E allora sostanzialmente quello che succede è che si configura questa sorta di iceberg, dove io ho le infrastrutture, le operations che rimangono fondamentali, perché è chiaro che senza quelle non si va avanti con le loro complessità, le loro articolazioni, il commerciale avio che era della fase precedente, che comunque è quello che mi consente di avere le compagnie aeree, le destinazioni che mi servono su quel territorio, ma se non ce le ho verrò colpevolizzato, se apro una nuova rotta la gente dirà ovvio che ci deve essere. Il non avio: quanti di voi si stupiscono di trovare un duty free o un bar in un aeroporto? Nessuno. Eppure se non c'è la gente dice ma come non c'è? Tutte queste cose ci devono essere, ma nessuna di queste fa la differenza tra me e tutti gli altri. La differenza io la devo costruire in un ambito che non ha nulla di razionale. La devo costruire in un ambito che è totalmente relazionale ed emotivo con quello che è il passeggero. Il passeggero deciderà di venire a Firenze perché è più bello. alcuni aeroporti spendono centinaia di milioni di euro semplicemente per avere una infrastruttura architettonica meravigliosa, quasi un monumento, quando sappiamo benissimo che per gli aeroporti è una spesa inutile, perché quando io ho finito l'opera, dopo un anno devo cominciare a modificare, perché devo ampliare, devo ingrandire, e questa spesa architettonica in realtà è semplicemente un investimento che agisce sulla parte emotiva. Questo percorso è un percorso molto difficile, per questo io vi dicevo quasi mi spaventa quanto sia avanti KLM, perché è un percorso che per noi è molto lontano, soprattutto in Italia. Come mi relaziono e come instauro una relazione con un passeggero, un dialogo che è prettamente sulla sfera emotiva, con un background culturale così lontano. In questa trasformazione in qualche modo la tecnologia ci è venuta in aiuto, perché mentre noi cercavamo di crescere, di entrare nel mondo del marketing e del mondo del cliente, è arrivato il web, è arrivato il social media. Oggi per me e per noi il social media è una piattaforma multimediale, è il mio canale multimediale, è quello su cui posso veicolare tutto, non più collegato soltanto a un personal computer, che si chiama personal ma non è più personal, ma un oggetto che oggi ha superato il traffico da PC, che è un oggetto veramente personale che ognuno di noi ha in tasca. E allora su questo canale noi stiamo provando, chi è molto più avanti, chi lo è meno. In Italia da 2 o 3 anni noi aeroporti un po' tutti stiamo aprendo i nostri canali social, qualcuno ancora lo fa in casa, molti lo fanno fuori, probabilmente tra qualche anno tornerà tutto dentro casa, perché c'è questo percorso in qualche modo di condivisione delle conoscenze. E stiamo scoprendo quanto questo canale sia importante, per le solite cose, ma per altre che dovremo scoprire e che KLM ci ha fatto scoprire oggi. Sicuramente le informazioni ai passeggeri oggi girano molto più sui social che sul sito web. Ma non solo quelle dei voli, cioè le informazioni di cui noi abbiamo un possesso diretto, a che ora arriva il volo, ma il traffico, le condizioni meteo, se c'è uno sciopero dei mezzi, se c'è uno sciopero dei taxi, tutte queste, se c'è una manifestazione esterna, tutte cose che non appartengono direttamente al nostro mondo, ma che il passeggero si aspetta di trovare da noi. Marketing è uno strumento, forse probabilmente è il primo da questo punto di vista. Ormai è lì che noi andiamo a promuovere i nuovi voli, è lì che andiamo a promuovere le iniziative all'interno dell'aeroporto, nei negozi. Community programs, anche qui rivoluzione, perché non solo il mio passeggero è il mio cliente, ma io ho come destinatario della mia comunicazione anche la comunità che mi sta attorno, che magari non volerà mai del mio aeroporto, ma è una comunità molto importante per la mia sopravvivenza. Qualcuno di voi forse saprà, ogni tanto se ne parla sui giornali, noi dovremmo fare una pista a Firenze, e questa pista, se abbiamo il territorio contro di noi, non la faremo mai. Come dialoghiamo? Ancora una volta il social diventa un canale preferenziale, anche se un canale a cui ti arrivano tante contestazioni e tante critiche e tante cose che non vorresti sentirti dire. In ultimo, questo è divertente anche con le compagnie aeree, cioè la comunicazione di crisi. Quando c'è un incidente aereo, noi ancora oggi stiamo a discutere col nostro ufficio, con l'ufficio dell'ENAC, con l'ufficio della compagnia aerea, sull'emissione del comunicato stampa. Quando il comunicato stampa è pronto, da circa un'ora sui social ci sono le foto dei passeggeri con l'incidente aereo. Questo sta rivoluzionando completamente le dinamiche nostre e di ENAC. Io ho finito il mio tempo, volevo solo dare qualche idea.
Rimani pure qui, Federico. Sì. Please, Carolijn, welcome back on stage. We have 10 minutes, more or less, for a small chat and a few questions. Okay, so you have presented 2 very different organizations and 2 very different also levels of interaction with customers and potential customers through social media. And my first question for you, Carolijn, is what's the biggest challenge? You manage more than 250 employees in 10 different languages, and they give support worldwide. What are the main challenges in interacting with a community of customers all over the world?
I think the main challenge is keeping up with the growing, as I said, growing volume and growing expectations, and then making it accessible for everyone. You can imagine that I am on social media, maybe you guys are as well, that my mother is and my grandfather is as well. And if my mother is typing a message, then it's like this big of a message without any dots and many emojis, you know, and then my grandfather has a different type. So the difficulty is managing the expectations of a customer, whereas customers have different expectations.
Okay.
That's the biggest challenge.
Yeah, great. A lot of different cultures as well.
Sure. Well, of course, if you are...
Well, I mean, the personal and the family feeling is
Yeah.
different for an Italian and for a Chinese.
Yeah. Well, and that's why we, the employees handling, for example, Chinese or Portuguese, Brazilian, they are native from that country.
Okay.
So then, same with Dutch, of course, then you already know a bit of the culture and how you should
All the shades.
talk to customers. So the Chinese conversations are very different than the Dutch ones because the culture is different.
Okay.
And we tackle that by having native agents in a team. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. You mentioned before 3 different goals. There's commerce, there's relationship, there's branding. How do you balance in your social media strategy those 3 different areas?
Well, within KLM, within the social media team, for each pillar, we have different employees. So I'm responsible for service, but I'm in very close contact with the people from commerce and brand. And if we develop something new, or if there's a new project or a new social media platform, for example, we just opened WhatsApp, then it's all done in cooperation to make sure that all these 3 pillars are having the same, at least the same possibilities to have influence on the outcome or the project.
Okay, great. I have a question now for you, Federico. A completely different contest, or forse meglio in italiano. Inglese o italiano? Inglese? Vi fa lo stesso? Okay, so let's keep talking in English. A completely different situation, and you have a specific stakeholder that is the people living in the city and around the airport. So what are the challenges using social media and keeping a conversation alive with someone that most of the times is not happy in having an airport just a few kilometers away?
It's a revolution. It's a revolution because we started in a few years to start to listen to people, start to understand what people were saying to us. And so we are at the very beginning in this process, but now we jump further in a social media context where you're not only listening, but you have to answer very fast. You have to answer now. And the example of the crisis in communication is typical because by now we have to prepare the press release for an accident between us, the civil aviation authorities, the air company, and maybe someone else like police or fireworks. By this time, you have everything on Twitter, on Facebook, with photos, with people injured and everything. So it's like saying what we are working for, and we need to answer now, right now. And so this is a very revolution because you have to cut all your chain, authority chain, or the management chain and go down below to your agent, to the people on the social media at the moment. So I think we would like to have time, but we have not time. So we have to hurry up and hurry up.
Yeah, and share your point of view and what's going on. Okay, great. And let's say in 5 years, what do you imagine? What do you see for an airport, for Toscana Aeroporti, or I mean, if you want to open?
Listen to Carolijn. I think in 5 years we should do something like 5 steps in one, because we're now trying to catch up. What's the state of art? But in 6 months, everything will change. So that's going to be really not easy. Not easy. The good point is that we have every day much more relationship with our companies. They are not our clients anymore. They are our partner by now. So we try to take from them, and they always ask us to be
Proactive.
quicker and quicker.
Okay.
So I think this is going to be a good point. And KLM arrived in Florence 3 or 5 or 4 years ago with 1 flight a day. Now they have 4 flights a day. So Florence is a good market for them, and KLM is a good partner for us for everything, even social media communication.
Okay, great. A few days ago, I think KLM communicated that is suspending service on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Based on data. Okay,
Yes.
based on what customers wanted or
Yes.
didn't want anymore, and so and it's great. In the way you communicated it, you said, okay, we are not giving support on LinkedIn anymore because customers are not using LinkedIn, and with full evidence based on data that it's not interesting anymore. So how do you use data? How do you use all the huge amount of information that you can gather through
Yes.
all the platforms in order to guide your decisions?
Yeah. Well, maybe it's good to start to state that social media is always dynamic. So you're having a challenge with 6 months ahead. We have the same challenge, and we are not making plans for 1 year from now, because then you will never get there. And it's the same with platforms. So now we are closing LinkedIn, and maybe next month we are opening something else, because we're looking at data in a way that we can help the customer. And as I said in the presentation, we would like to be where the customers are. And in this LinkedIn case, we saw that much more customers were on WhatsApp and all the other channels we're having than on LinkedIn. So this data was based on volumes. And if you would compare the LinkedIn volume to Facebook or WhatsApp, it's not even 1%. So we use the data in line with our strategy, being where the customers are, to draw a conclusion. This is not where we have to be right now. It doesn't mean that we don't have to be there never anymore, because maybe next year it will change, but at this moment, not. So how are we using data? We're using data in 2 ways to make our process more efficient. So we're using data a lot to, for example, if you're looking at reasons why customers are approaching us, and we see that one of those reasons is something we can solve, then we can solve it for the customers, and they are not approaching us anymore, and there's no problem anymore. So we're using data to make the process more efficient, but also to reflect our strategy. Are we still doing the same thing?
Okay, great. I think we have a few seconds for
25.
For last like fire question. The social media platform of 2018 is going to win. I know that it's not easy.
It's a very difficult question. I'm not even able to answer it. The only thing I know is that currently Facebook and WhatsApp are the biggest in our world. And I think what we have to look out for is that there are currently 10 devices being on voice, because Google has one, Amazon has one, Facebook is building one, everyone is having one.
Okay, so voice is the other.
Yes, and I
Things
believe
to
that next to
pay
the
attention to.
big two platforms we're currently having, few of these voice platforms will grow bigger and few of them will die.
No.
And then they have to be combined, because nothing will only be voice or only be social. Everything will be
Integrated, yeah.
same as
Converge.
call centers. Right now, call centers is something different than social media service. But what if people are sending you a voice message? Is it then a call or a social media message?
Yeah.
So it's everything is getting together actually.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks a
Yeah.
lot for your time. Thank you. Okay.